Hi everyone, so I've been feeling a bit guilty about the fact that I haven't put a video up in ages, and to be honest with you it's because if I film on my normal camera I only can film in 20-minute blocks, and I often find that I forget to check and I end up sewing over those 20 minutes and losing footage. Or when I try to do the film for the Marshall instructions, I filmed a whole segment and the whole thing was out of focus, and the reality is that that means that I have to go back and make that creature again, and that takes obviously a lot of time. So I found I was quite discouraged by those two things, and I thought about what I could do instead, because I do still want to be recording videos and showing you how I work and the design work that goes into these guys. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I should run like a little, almost like a vlog, like a weekly sewing update, so you can see what I've got up to during the week, whether it is actually putting together these guys. So this is Bob and Daisy, who you're going to see me constructing today, or if it's designing a pattern, this is going to be part of the pattern for a Zucker. It's the base for the octopus, which I'm working on now, or if it's just updating on what I've cut out or what else is going on. So let me know if you like this style of video and if you can follow along with the clips. I've been following clips by a lady who I think is called Angela Clayton, but I could be wrong, and she creates historical costumes, and she also films like weekly sewing update or progress videos, and I've really enjoyed watching them. So let me know if it works just as well for these guys, and I hope you enjoy watching the rest of the video. Hi all, so it is Sunday and it's my second day of working to try and clear my commission list, which I've been blessed this year. It's been quite long before Christmas, but unfortunately my house, the sewing room in my house is really, really cold. I think I need to replace a window. So my productivity during the week has been pretty poor, because I haven't wanted to waste the money heating the entire house when that room loses heat so quickly. So I'm trying to make it up now. Sorry if you can hear a lot of rattling. That's my dog with a chew. And so the first character that I am just rushing to finish now is this, who is a Daisy. And I asked her commissioner early on if she wanted the kind of white shaded Daisy or if she wanted it to be more cream, and she went with more cream. So you can see I still have markings on the face, which are a friction pen. So it's one like, excuse my arm, this. And these are really good actually, because if you add a little bit of heat to them, the marks disappear. I have heard that if you put the doll back in the freezer afterwards, the marks reappear, but I feel like it's very, very unlikely that these dolls are going to end up in the freezer. If they do, you can just reheat them and they disappear again. So anyway, I've been marking the facial features and things on with the friction markers rather than the water ones, because the water ones tend to make the Copic markers bleed when you add the water to remove the marks. You can see I've stitched on the eyes here. I thought this design lent itself quite well to hand embroidery, and did the nose as well. But then the mouth and the eyebrows are Copic markers, and I just need to go over the eyebrows with a bit of white to make them more like the real image. And then I need to go over the face with an iron just to take out those rough markings from the friction marker. Also need to add ears, of course. Top is done, body is sewn up and all complete, arms are attached and all movable. She does need a tail, but otherwise hopefully she will be ready to go out to her new home tomorrow, which is Monday. So she's nearly complete. And then my next character, who is also nearly complete, is this guy here, who again hopefully you'll recognise is Bob. I've actually had Bob in my town before, so it's been quite nice working on him. So he has cat ears here, which are 2 layers of felt. He's got a few random bits of fluff on him still, which I need to remove. His eyes have just been attached and lined around. I just need to soften off some of these areas where you can see the pins were. His mouth is embroidered on, which I thought went quite well. And then I've also embroidered his shirt here. So really, in theory, there should be a lot more flowers on his shirt, but it's difficult for me to make the shirts completely like the characters in the games, because obviously I'm having to either stitch on or draw on all the details. And his is stitched on, and I actually have to stitch these as a row of 2 sort of petal shapes, and then turn it sideways and stitch the next row across, and I have to line up the centres exactly. So it's not easy to do, particularly on fabric of this scale, and if I do any more than this, they're more likely to end up looking out of balance. So stitch those on in white thread, and then add the little yellow centres with a Copic marker. So his body's all stitched up and ready to go, and I have his arms as well. They are here, ready to be attached. So all he needs now is his arms. His tail needs stuffing. He also needs a few markings adding to his body, but otherwise he is ready to go. And I have one more ready to cut out that I'm hoping to get finished today. In case you ever wondered, this is the source of all the noise in the background of my videos whenever I'm talking. This is Boris, who is busy trying to entertain himself by rubbing himself all over my sofa. Aren't you, Bobs? Hey, good boy. Not sure. So I thought it'd be a good idea to show you how I turn around small pieces like this, which is eventually going to be Daisy's ear here. So with felt, you can sew quite close to the edge or trim back quite a lot so that you only have a very small seam allowance, which means that you get a smoother curve. But turning it around can be quite tricky, because if you use something like a needle nose plier, what can happen is you can grab, when you're inside the structure like this, you can grab further down and end up accidentally ripping out part of the felt, which will cause a mark on the right side of the fabric when you turn it around. So I found these little things, which I will add a link to the description because I can't remember what they're called, but basically they are a set of tubes. There's 3 hollow tubes in each set, and then there's 3 solid, which are either metal or wood. And they match up, and they're designed to help you turn things around. Now, with the felt, it doesn't work perfectly, because with a thinner fabric, you'd actually end up with the fabric right way around inside the tube, and that doesn't tend to happen with felt because it is so thick. But what you basically do is you put the hollow tube inside of whatever you're trying to turn, and then you use the solid tube to press it slightly inside of the hollow one here, and then you just kind of push it along like this, and it ends up the right way around, but with the solid tube inside like that. So that is now the earpiece turned around correctly. So all I have to do is decide if I want to put any stuffing in it at all, which I don't think I will do, and then just fold under the top seam here and ladder stitch it closed so it's a nice neat opening before attaching it to the side of her head. So there's her ear ready to go. I also just wanted to post a quick update now that I've got a couple of details finished. So here is Daisy, and you can see her ears are now fully attached, and I've also finished her tail too, so she is pretty much finished. I still need to nip downstairs and iron out her friction marker points, but other than that she is pretty much done and ready to go, as is Bob here. So you can see here that they are pretty much the same height, but Bob's head is much larger because he's got this round face shape. Most of my Animal Crossing characters have a distinct body and head combination, but these two actually share a body pattern and arm patterns here. Everything else is different though. And then I thought I would show you just as a little comparison so you can see what I mean. This is the Marshall that I made for my kit, and you can see that his body is much smaller, so that he's the right scale in comparison with Bob here. So just so you can see the little scale difference, here these two are together. So I'm about to move on now to drafting a pattern for a frog, and I also need to cut out another dog commission, and I have to design a pattern for a squid, and in theory all of those need to be finished this week, so I've got a lot to do. So it's now night time, and I've finally got around to cutting out all the pieces for 2 of the remaining commissions. The last one is one where I'm going to have to design the paper pattern as well, whereas with these I already have the paper pieces designed. And then it's just a case of customizing them to the individual characters. So I'm not going to tell you who these 2 guys are. I bought myself some new bags from Wilko's, which is like a nice shop here for like random little bits and pieces and things like stationery and homewares, just to kind of keep all the pieces together because I tend to lose them otherwise. And these seem to be working out really nicely. So this is character number 1. And this is character number 2, and I don't know if you can guess who either of these guys are based on the pattern pieces that you can see, but otherwise I think that's it for this weekend. I'm going to start designing the paper pattern now and leave these guys as they are for the time being. You can see that Boris is just about done for today's work as well. He's put a good effort in, but he is out for the count pretty much.